Hello all, Pallavi this side. Today we'll see how how to handle Bootstrap dropdown in Selenium WebDriver. In my last videos, we have seen that dropdowns of select class, but today most of the developers are using Bootstrap to design dropdowns. Now in Bootstrap dropdown, we cannot have select tag. Instead of select tag, we have anchor tag, div tag, or input tag, or UL, or LI. Different types of tags are available in Bootstrap dropdown instead of select tag. Now, first we'll see what is dropdown. Dropdown is nothing but a HTML control used to provide multiple options to user. And there are different controls available like radio button, checkbox, text box, links, but they need lots of space compared to dropdown. Now let's say if there are 100 radio buttons are there in UI, and you all know that it occupies lots of space. So to avoid that, we go for Bootstrap dropdown. Now Bootstrap dropdown using CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, we can create Bootstrap dropdown. And we know that there is no standard to design Bootstrap dropdown. As of in normal dropdown, we have select class, and in select class we have methods like select by, value, visible text, index. So using that in normal dropdown, we will develop or design a dropdown. But Bootstrap, we don't have the particular design standard for Bootstrap. I mean, we can use button or div or anchor or anything which provides click option. We can use that to create drop down in Bootstrap drop down. In the main question is why we go for Bootstrap drop down when we have drop down. In Bootstrap drop down, the feel and look of the drop down will be great. That's why we go for Bootstrap drop down. Today we'll see how to automate Bootstrap dropdown. Now what we'll see, open the Eclipse in Selenium sessions, make create one class, name this as Bootstrap dropdown, take main method and finish it. Now what we'll do, we'll take these, copy these four lines and paste it here. Now we'll take this picechat.com, copy the URL and paste it in driver.get. Now after this, what we'll do, we'll just inspect this from element. Here you can see that this is one drop down and this one is another drop down. Now first what we'll see, first we'll automate this drop down, that is from drop down, then we'll automate this drop down, that is to drop down, and after that we'll see how to create one generic method instead of creating two drop downs in our code. So first we'll see how to in this. Okay, here you can see that this is under div 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 div. Here you can see that this is the this is here you can see this is this div, in this div this from web element is present. So what we'll do, we'll create one XPath for this. Just copy this div at the rate Once again spy this from element. Once again spy this. Go up. Okay. This copy data test id at the rate data test id equal to in single quotation. Copy this value, paste it. 1 of 1. Now copy this x path. What we'll do after this, we'll driver dot find element by dot x path. Copy that. And what you want to do with this web element, we want to click on that, so dot click. Now after clicking here, you can see that we'll get so many options in this drop down. What we'll do, I'll spy this first one. Here you can see that this is the div class. Here you can see, okay, this div class contains all the, okay, this div class contains all the web that are drop down elements. So what we'll do, we'll create one XPath for this. Copy this XPath class name, then div double slash div at the rate class equal to, paste that. Here you can see that 1 of 1. This div contains all the drop down elements. Now if you come down one div, here you can see that there are 68 elements are present. All the elements are present in this XPath. So what we will do now, copy this XPath, then driver dot find elements by dot XPath. Here only the, okay, this is div. Here you can see that this is last, this is div is there, so I just, it didn't copy, that's why I have written. And now what we'll see, this is, if you mouse over this is the list of web element. Copy this, and this is for from web element. We have to import this web element and list also from java.util. Now after this, what here, we'll just print the size of this, print from dot size. Now run it, we'll see how many web elements are there in the drop down. Here 68 elements are present. Now what we will do, stay connected, just as time, okay. Now after clicking this, we have to select any of the value. So for this we will create one for loop. What we'll do, we'll create one for loop for each loop, enhanced for loop, for options from, and this is a web element. Now here you can see that this is the driver dot find elements. This XPath gives all the drop down elements, and this is stored in from variable, and from that from variable we have passed all the values of drop down to options, and this options is now of web element type. Now what we'll do here, we'll create one if statement. If options dot get text, we'll use one method called contains. Here you can see which one. Okay, this will do. Bengaluru. If contains Bengaluru, Bengaluru, then what you want to do with this? We want to click on this. That means options dot click. And after clicking, break the loop. Okay, now we'll run this. It's opening, and Bengaluru has been selected. Now what? Okay, I'll close this window. Okay. Now after getting this, we'll inspect these two web element. Here you can see that this is the two. This is in this div tag. This two element is present. So we'll create one XPath for this. Just copy paste here. Let's see. Okay. What we'll do, we'll just delete this, and this is the div tag, double slash div tag at the rate data test id equal to, in single quotation. Now here you can see that one of one element is present, so copy this x path for 2. Now what we'll do after this, we'll create driver dot find element by dot xpath, and copy that. And what you want to do with this, we want to just click on this, so click on that web element. Now after clicking, we'll add some thread or sleep. Okay, after clicking here, we'll get all the drop down options. Now we'll create, here you can see that this this div contains all the drop down elements for two web elements. So we'll create one XPath for this. Copy the class name and double slash div at the rate class equal to, copy it. Okay, sorry, it's previous one got copied. And once again, this div, yeah, this div contains all the elements. Just copy this, then double slash div at the rate class equal to, you can see that this div contains all the elements. Now what we'll do, we'll come one div down, that are 47 elements are present. So what we'll do, we'll just take this one, copy this, XPath, and yep, driver dot find elements by dot XPath. Copy that XPath. Now this is the list of web element, and the variable name will give it as 2. Now after getting this, what we'll do, we'll create one for loop to get all the options from that drop down. For options 2, and this is, you know that this is web element. Okay. This is capital. Okay. After, here you can see that this XPath gives all the drop down elements of two web element, and we have stored this in one variable called 2, and from that 2 we are passing all the values to options, and this option is now web element type. Now what we'll do, we'll get create one if statement. If options dot get text dot contains, which one, here you can see that, okay, we'll select Ajmer, AJMER. If this is present, then what we'll do, we'll just click on this options dot click, then break. Save this. Now we'll run this. Now it has to click for from, then select Bengaluru, then to select Ajmer. Yeah. Now here you can see that there are two for loops we have created, one for from web element and one for to web element. Suppose in this web page, if you have, here you can see that there are so many, wait a minute, this is one drop down, this is second drop down, and this is third drop down, and this is fourth drop down. So what happens if we have more number of drop downs in a single web page? Creating for loop for each one of them is not a good habit. So what we'll do now, we will create one generic method. For that, we'll name it as public static void select from drop down. Now we'll get all the list of web element, because here you can see that there are so many elements are present in each of the drop down. So we'll get list of web element, we'll name it as option, then we'll create one variable string, and we'll create one variable value of string type. Here you can see that we need to pass these values, right? Bengaluru and Ajmer, and whatever you want to pass. That's for that we have created one variable of string type. Now what we'll do, here we'll create, wait a minute, yes, now what we'll do, here we'll create, this will complete, one for loop for option options option, and this is of web element type. Here you can see that this from this option we have passed all the values to options, and here we'll create one if statement. If options dot get text dot contains what, this value. If this is present, then what you want to do, we'll just want to options dot click, then break the loop. Now here you can see that we have created one generic method, generic method. Using this method, we can call this method to this from web element, and we can call this method here also. If I have more than 2 3 4 drop downs are there, just create one for loop using generic method and call that generic method in each of the web element. Now what we'll just remove this, and we'll call this select from drop down, just pass from, and what is the value, will pass Bengaluru. Same here. After this, call the method generic method select from drop down, and what is the name of the variable, 2, and here you can see that this is the list of web element option. So what is the name of this option here, this is 2, so pass this 2, then string value, what value you want to pass, Ajmer. Now Ajmer, delete this one. This for loop also you have to delete. Yes, sorry, this one, and okay. Now here you can see that we should make this one global static web driver. Now here, okay, this one W is capital. Now okay, this is driver. Okay, now save this. Here now you can see that we have created one generic method, and using that generic method we can pass the value. Here this is the list of web element option string value. This is the list of web element, and this option value variable here is from, and this value is here Bangalore we want to pass, and this Bangalore, if that option get the text, if it matches click it and come out of the break. Again for this web element, this generic method is called, and again the same process happens. Now we'll run this. Bangalore is selected and Ajmeri have to. second values. Okay, now here you can see that Bangalore is selected and Ajmer got selected. So in this way, here you can see that there are two more drop downs are present, passengers and one currency. Now what, instead of here you can create two web elements, one for which one, that is one for passenger, and wait a minute. Okay, maybe one for passenger and one for currency. We'll just create this driver dot find element by dot xpath, and through this we can call the, and this generic method can be called by this, and we can automate the web element. Hope you understand this. Any queries, leave down in a comment box. Please subscribe and share. Thank you.